Hello, guys and gals, me, Mudahar, and I'm proud to say I canceled me the old Netflix. Ladies and gentlemen, Netflix is a weird service, okay? A service that once came in and destroyed Blockbuster. Now, back in the day, I'm gonna guide you through a little bit of history. Back in the day, we had stores like Blockbuster, Rogers, or video game stores, right? You know, stores that you could go to and rent movies. I remember as a younger kid, my dad would take me there. I would rent PlayStation 1 games like Worms and Breath of Fire, and sometimes we'd get a movie. We'd watch it and we'd return it. Now, of course, we never really got the good movies because my dad always showed up late to the store and everyone basically took everything that didn't have Rob Schneider in it. So I grew up with a lot of Rob Schneider movies, unfortunately. Now, because of that, ladies and gentlemen, Netflix jumped into the binge because Netflix back in the day offered something that no other service was. Back in the early days of 2010, people could be lazy enough to go onto Netflix, sign up for a subscription, and rent movies like Iron Man 2 on DVD delivered to their house. They actually used to send DVDs to your house that they would come in a little pouch. You'd watch the movie, and then like an MRE, you could repackage it and send it right back to Netflix. It was pretty effortless. Then they started the streaming service where you could actually just watch the movies on your devices. I remember ordering the disc for the Nintendo Wii just so we could watch movies on Netflix. It was actually pretty interesting. Now, of course, as the years passed, Netflix grew to a gargantuan size. Now, in the last few years, Netflix has been investing in Netflix originals. And if you don't know Netflix originals, basically back in the day they released series like House of Cards, Narcos, and all these massive productions that were Netflix productions. Netflix basically financed the hell out of these, and in certain cases Netflix bought crazy amounts of productions too. So for instance, I think they spent somewhere around $16 billion, right? $16 billion, all right? They went into debt. They basically had a race between, well, let's get into as much debt as we can, and hopefully we can make enough subscribers onto our service to make up the debt clock that we're running. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been looking at Netflix real closely, they have been dropping subscribers like no tomorrow. Netflix has lost around 200,000 subscribers just a quarter ago. I hope to God you're not a Netflix investor as of 6 months ago because the stock fucking tanked, brother. We're looking at a 67% drop in the last 6 months. Now, do I think that Netflix is going to die out of nowhere? Probably not, but Netflix is definitely a service that has a lot of problems. One of them being too much competition, but we'll get to that in a bit. See, for Netflix, one of the things that really triggered this sharp decline, as you're noticing right here, is the news that Netflix might actually be trying to stop people from sharing accounts. Now, if you don't know, password sharing is a big deal on every streaming service, okay? Everyone shares accounts, okay? Everyone's like, what's the Netflix password? What's the Disney Plus password? What's the HBO Plus password? Hey, son, I need the Browser subscription. Daddy has to crank one out. Ladies and gentlemen, to understand, all right, to get things going, account sharing happens across everything. If you wanted to understand how all human beings are the same, regardless of race, culture, and sex, it's literally because every single person understands the universal sign for pass me the subscription service password. That's it. Now, apparently Netflix wants to crack down on that. I don't know how they achieve it, whether they use some fancy machine learning algorithm to track each account's activity, or they might just choose to outright start banning different IPs, constantly flooding the same account. At the end of the day, okay, you're never going to get rid of account sharing Netflix, okay? You know, as an Indian person, all right, if it's one phrase that I know, beta Netflix ka password kya hai? Okay, people, trust me, we find a way to, if we could share one Netflix account between 50 households, we probably could, okay? That's a little excessive, but we'd figure out a way. In fact, everyone does that. Americans, Canadians, you know, Europeans, everyone is sharing their account passwords. Now, to crack down on it would be something that might sound reasonable, but again, this is not something that many other services are doing. Amazon isn't doing that. Disney Plus isn't doing that. HBO Max isn't doing that, as far as my knowledge goes. So again, Netflix wanted to crack down on it, and if they actually are successful with it, could absolutely kill a lot of people that are literally just sharing their accounts. I think the actual figure is like somewhere around 100 million users are just sharing their accounts with family relative members. And one of the reasons is it's expensive. Guys, the reason I canceled my Netflix subscription was in the last 2 months, I have not signed into the actual service, right? I watch two shows on Netflix. I watch Narcos Mexico every time they have a new season, and Ozark. And honestly, if I really cared about those shows, like really, really cared, I might as well only subscribe for the 1 month that the new seasons drop, watch the show, and cancel my subscription. Why would I pay Netflix somewhere around $20 a month, $21 a month at its most premium service? That's if you want to get 4K, HDR, everything. It's $10 if you want to get the basic subscription service. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, these prices have been going up year after year. The only reason I really canceled my subscription fee was, for me, I signed up to Netflix and I kind of forgot about it, like most people forget about signing up to like a Patreon or a subscription or maybe to like a Twitch channel. But when they told me that they were price hiking, I opened up Netflix just to see what they were releasing. And to be honest with you, it's not like the catalog of Netflix shows is anywhere that great. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to tell you that all of Netflix is terrible. There's a few shows that come out that are pretty good. I'm a true crime nut, so whenever a good true crime show comes, I usually watch it. They're only like 2 or 3 episodes, and then my Netflix subscription remains dormant. But to be real with you, Netflix greenlights anything. I'm going to run a show Bible idea, okay? If I was to tell you, hey guys, I just came up with a show. It's about this priest, okay? A time-traveling priest that found a butt plug in the middle of like some old synagogue from thousands of years ago. When this butt plug is inserted into the priest's anus, he finally has magical crime-fighting abilities. You're probably laughing. You're probably like, this guy's crazy. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I've watched too many Adam Sandler movies. But you know what Netflix would say? It'd be like, you know what? Sign up, boys. That's a pretty good idea. I don't know what the Netflix exec must be snorting. I don't know, maybe if they're having G Fuel, but just not, consuming it the right way, like putting it in their shaker and everything. Maybe they're just like straight bumping it off. But that's exactly what I've developed from the situation. They greenlight almost any crappy show. And what happens is the entire Netflix category is just oversaturated. There have been nights where I've sat down with friends and I've just been like, hey, let's see what's on Netflix. We've probably spent like 40 minutes just scrolling through going, no. When your audience can spend the entire length of a fucking movie or a TV show just browsing through your meandering catalog saying no, that's probably on you, dog. I'm just saying. Now, of course, there's also competition. Netflix is going up against some big juggernauts. See, Netflix succeeded in a time where it was a new player on the block. Streaming services, hey, DVDs showing up to your house. Now Netflix exists in a world where every type of streaming service exists. And here's another thing. There's too many streaming services, right? Like, when you look at gaming, you got PlayStation Plus, you got Xbox Game Pass, you've got Nintendo Switch Online. And all these services, they cost, $10 a month, $20 a month, $5 a month, varying different price tiers. Even with, like, entertainment like Netflix, you've got Disney Plus, HBO Max, you've got, which isn't even available in Canada, by the way, but you've also got, services like Amazon Prime. And if you look at all these services, there's a very small amount of people in the world that can actually afford every single service. Because if you do the math, right, like, let's say that you're buying a service for like even $15 a month, right, or just $20 a month, like this premium Netflix subscription, then at the end of the year, you're paying like $200, okay? Even if you buy the cheapest tier, that's still $100 you're giving to a Netflix subscription service. And imagine if people have multiple services around, right? That's hundreds upon hundreds of dollars you're spending on entertainment per year for television shows that you may or may not be watching. This is why account sharing exists, okay? Because one person in the household might buy HBO Max. One person will buy Netflix. It is logically unreasonable for you to expect the same household, 2 people living in the same household, living amongst each other in the same family circle, to be buying their own subscription services. Look, human nature, we just share this stuff all the time. So when you look at the prices slowly going up and the amount of saturation in the subscription game, obviously Netflix is losing some subscribers. You're going up against people that have better libraries than you. Look, if you go up against Disney Plus, they basically banked everyone's nostalgia anyways. They have all the old movies that we grew up with, and they have some of the most popular entertainment IPs to this day. You're not really winning against something like that. You're also not winning up against HBO Max because they've done the same thing. They're the ones who are spending crazy money to buy the shows that people actually want to watch. And you're not winning against Amazon because Amazon basically just dominates you guys from a monetary perspective. And also, Amazon doesn't really entirely care that you're watching their subscription service either. They have their hands dipped in too many pies. I think when I look at the combination of Netflix, it really comes down to, hey, there's a lot of shows that are just not worth watching, at least to me personally. I'm sure there's people out there like, I love everything Netflix is making. It's a banger to me. Every single thing that they finance and produce, I watch it. I'm sure those kind of people exist. I've never met them. But me personally speaking, I don't really care too much for the shows that they produce. Also, the price hikes alone are not worth justifying. For me, I could spend the money paying monthly to it, but I could use that same money to fly myself to another part of the world or buy an extra video game or two per year. That could give me more hours of enjoyment than just casually browsing through Netflix, trying to find something that I can use as background music when I'm doing something far more engaging. That said, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.